Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and it's time to take my planner stash and do a little bit of destash. All right, so here's the situation. I have a bookcase full of planners. Some of them are planners that are currently in use. Some of them are planners from the past. Some of them are planners for the coming year in 2024. And what I need to do is clean out that bookshelf to start to make room for some of the product that is coming to the Scrappy Wife. And I'm really excited about it. This is just the beginning. There's more product. And I don't actually want it to live on my table forever and ever. So that means I need to kind of come up with a plan. So I think plan one is to clean this out, take some of these apart, deconstruct the planners, save what I want to save, and figure out how I can kind of make a little space. So I thought I would bring you guys along, talk you through how I'm deciding what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. Let's do it. The truth is, if you are wanting to organize any area of your craft space, any area of your home, generally you have to start out with destashing. And I love these planners. I have loved these planners. I've loved collecting these planners. I've used bits and pieces from a lot of these planners, but I knew that it was time to kind of change up this part of my space. I knew they didn't need this prominent of a space. And whenever I know that something new is coming into my creative space, whenever I know I'm starting a new supply or new hobby, one of the first things I do is consider, where am I going to put all of the different supplies? So as I've been working on designing these new products, I knew they were coming into my craft space. I know there's going to be more coming in the future. And so I wanted to make a plan for where these are going to go. The products are going to be in this cabinet. I think I'm going to be getting another bookcase, a skinny one that will go right next to this cabinet. There's going to have to be some adjustments to make sure that there is room, because as much as I need that table in the middle right now, I don't want that to be a permanent fixture in the space. For me, I decided it would be easier for me to go through all these planners over on my craft table. If I had just stood at the bookcase and kind of flipped through, I really feel like I would have ended up leaving more there. I would have had a hard time envisioning moving them around. And sometimes it helps to clear out a space so that you can get a fresh look at how everything might fit. If it's still in there, sometimes it's hard to look past what you can actually see in the space. And I wanted to reimagine what this bookcase might look like. So taking all of the planners out was really successful for me. Hi, Penny. Oh, Penny, just hanging out in the craft room, being a helper like always. So these are now going to be covering my entire craft table. It was quite the ordeal to get them all over there and get them stacked. As far as the happy notes, I'm going to go ahead and move those down. I'm going to keep the happy notes. I find that those are really versatile. I like the options for different papers. I could break these down if I wanted to, and I still might do that in the future. But today I really wanted to focus primarily on the planners and the journals. All right, so I took out all of those planners. I kept the Happy Notes notebooks in the bookcase because I'm going to keep those and I like having those on hand. Here's the criteria. I'm going to go through these planners. They fit into a few different categories. First of all, we have future planners. Planners for 2024 or that started in June of 2023 that go through 2024. I'm going to take a look, see what I have, see if I have some for the layouts that I like, and then kind of break them down from there. Then I have current planners. Those are the ones I'm obviously going to keep through the end of 2023 because they're the ones I'm currently working out of. I also would have undated planners, and then I would have more outdated planners. So those are going to fall into a couple of categories. I might have outdated planners that I'm keeping for sentimental reasons, past planners, things like that. I might have undated planners that I'm keeping for custom patron spreads. We're just going to kind of go through and break it down and see what we come up with. I'm going to put you guys on fast forward so you don't have to see me struggling through all of the different decisions. Once I've made some decisions, we'll come back, reconvene, and see where we ended up at.
Y'all, why was this so much harder than I anticipated that it would be? I forgot. I love these planners. I love the covers. I love all of the things. And I had to remind myself I needed to focus on what my needs were. And I needed to find first the undated planners. Undated planners, fantastic. Always great to keep those because you can use them in a variety of ways. So I wanted to keep those and I wanted to keep them intact. Then I needed to find the planners that I was currently pulling from, and I realized that I had not pulled apart several of my Franken planners from the past few months. So I had to pull those apart, redistribute pages to where they belong, and gather up all of the planners that I was currently working on from this current year. And I wanted to make sure I had those so I didn't accidentally toss them. Then I really needed to identify planners that were for the future, 2024, or that went through 2024, because of course the 18-month planners that were released in May, June timeframe last for 18 months, a year and a half. So I knew that I could still use those pages. So I wanted to kind of keep those as well. Those were the three main categories of planners I was going to be keeping. I did keep most of the guided journals, not all of the guided journals, but most of the guided journals. And like I said, the happy notes had already been moved to the bottom shelf. So that's what I was looking for. Then the ones that were left, I had to go through and decide what was I going to keep, what was I going to discard. Some of them were older planners or parts of planners that I was able to let go of. Maybe they were journaling planners. I don't keep all of my journaling. It's really more for the process at the time, less for looking back. So I don't really need to keep all of those. I let go of some planners that I had picked up for different various reasons, and I just put them over to the side because what I wanted to do was deconstruct those planners. So I wanted to take them apart, save the parts I wanted, and discard the parts that I didn't want. So it was a process going through everything. It probably took me 40 to 45 minutes just to get through this section, making sure I had what I needed. I was moving stuff back onto the bookcase. It was a haul, and destashing is not easy. It's never ever going to be easy, but it's something that's going to have to happen in most of our rooms.
Right, so that was harder than I thought. I went through that big stack. I obviously still have a bunch of stuff back here that's got to find a home. The next thing I'm going to do is break down some planners that I no longer am going to be using. I'm going to break them down for their parts. You don't have to keep all the parts of every planner. And in fact, a lot of times you can store it better when you break them down. So I'm going to save discs and covers, some of the dividers that I love, and maybe some blank sheets if I need them for other spreads. But we're going to break those down and then start to file some things away.
I feel like we tend to forget that we can reuse parts of planners. I get so excited with the new releases every year, but you can reuse your planners in so many different ways. First of all, the discs. Obviously, you can reuse discs all the time, make new color combos, mix it up. I like to change my discs all the time. Covers, that's pretty self-explanatory, but you can also reuse dividers. There's nothing saying you have to get a new set of dividers every year. You can, get a new calendar, get a new insert, and then work with the dividers you have so that you're not being wasteful. Plus, there's tons of other fun things to do with the dividers, create different trackers, create vision boards. I do have a video on my channel all about how to have fun with these old dividers, how to upcycle them, how to recycle them. So that's what I'm doing, breaking apart. Sometimes I'm saving the inside pages as well. Sometimes I'm discarding those and just saving the main guts. It just depends on the planner, but it did take a little bit of a process breaking down these planners. However, it's going to save space in the end. right, it is officially time to start loading things back into this cabinet. You can see I have the planners down below. I was able to get all of those shelves down to 2 shelves. Are they more tightly packed? Yes, at the moment they are. I think I'm going to have to do another round of destashing at the end of this year. Once I'm done using all of the planners that I've been pulling from this year, I think I will be able to destash a little bit more, but I'm excited to go ahead and put my first set of product into these shelves. I know that there's more product on the way. I cannot wait to start sharing it with you all, and I'm super excited that now it has a place in my craft studio.
And this is the final product. I know it probably looks a little empty, maybe a little bit sadder to you than it did before, but to me it looks like exciting things coming, and I am pretty pumped about it. So it felt good to destash, it felt good to break a few things down, and I'm excited for what the future holds. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this inspired you to go through a few of your supplies, start the destashing process, because that's obviously the first step into actually organizing some of those supplies that have been piling up in your space. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you all so much for being amazing people and a wonderful creative community. If you want to join us over on Patreon, it is never too late, and we would love to have you. You can find the link for my Patreon down in the description box below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.